The Miramar Invitational is always one of the top sprint meets of the year, and 2023 was no different. Let's jump into it. We're of course starting off with that women's 100-meter dash where Sha'Carri Richardson lit up the track. First in the heats, she ran a windy 10.75 seconds, which converted to about 10.88 with no wind. So at that point, we could have very well predicted she was on pace for something fast in that final, wind or not. And she delivered. In the final, Richardson got out well, hit the top end speed that she's very well known for, and at about 5 meters from the line, she celebrated, pointed to the track, and she clocked 10.57 seconds. Yes, I know it was a little bit windy, 4.1 meters per second behind her, but regardless, 10.57 seconds is insane. Let's put things in perspective. 10.5 seconds with plus 4.1 wind is 10.77 seconds with no wind. If she had a perfect 2.0 meter per second wind, she would have run 10.63 seconds. And here's a couple other conversions with the wind as well. So you can clearly see that she was very fast regardless of what was happening. Additionally, there's not another woman in history who has ever run a time that converts to sub 10.80 seconds in the month of April. The closest before this was actually Richardson herself, who ran 10.72, converted to 10.82 in 2021, and Brittany Brown, who ran 10.66, converted to 10.81 in 2022. So regardless of the wind, regardless of what was going on, this was a masterful race. And yes, I know some people will say that this was expected. She was going to run fast on this track already, right? Early in the season. Regardless, this was impressive and we should very well not look over it. Just for a bit more context, last year, Richardson had a pretty good season right before USA. She ran 10.92 in late May, 10.85 in June, and then of course a windy 10.73 in early June. But circle back to 2021. This is very reminiscent of how she started that season, right? She was killing it early on and of course went on to win the Olympic trials before the ban. But she opened her season in 2021 with a 10.72 personal best at this meet. So if she's already in the 10.7 range, she's now a little bit older, more wise, more experienced. This 2023 season could be very, very big for her. So always keep a lookout for what she's gonna do. Just behind Richardson, TT Terry ran very well too with windy times of 10.89 in the heats and 10.83 in the finals. And a huge shout out to Cambria Stugris. A windy 10.98 shows that she's getting back into form. So don't ever forget that 1-2 double she did at NCAA's back in 2021. She is very much a threat. Now, on the men's side in the 100 meters, this was all about Jamaica. First Oblique Seville put down a strong marker with a legal 9.95 second in the heats, which is actually his 6th fastest performance ever in the 100-meter dash, and obviously his fastest time ever this early in the season. He was followed closely behind by Ronnie Baker's 10.01. That was an impressive result from Baker as he had actually never run the 100 meters since September 2021, so almost a full 2 years. Then Akeem Blake, he won Heat 2 in a windy 10.05, but into the final, things turned out to be very, very close between 4 guys. Seville and Blake both managed to separate a bit from the field towards the end and cross the line almost together, but with Seville getting the win in 9.91 seconds while Blake ran 9.93. But just behind them, Aaron Brown from Canada, remember, I mentioned him yesterday, he ran 9.97 seconds while Ronnie Baker ran 9.98. Now, all these times were windy, but only with a slight 2.2 meter per second wind. This was a very good all-around result for the Jamaican guys as they're really starting to show that they're slowly but surely getting back into the rhythm of things, especially in this post-Bolt era of sprinting. While Aaron Brown, he continues to show his consistency, and Ronnie Baker is now getting back into the fold. Let me be clear, don't sleep on Ronnie Baker. He is very dangerous, and if he's back healthy, he could very likely make the US team and maybe even medal at the World Championships. Let's not forget, he made the Olympic final in 2021. So keep a lookout for all these 100-meter guys. Now, down to the 400 meters for the women, we were all looking to see what Shericka Jackson would be able to do, especially after running that very comfortable 50.9 seconds just a couple weeks ago. Well, it didn't exactly go as expected. Jackson finished 3rd in 51.64, just behind Cherokee Young's 51.58. But the winner here was Shamir Little in 50.73 seconds. Little has been an unsung hero over the past couple years, and a lot of ups and downs, but still remaining consistent and always in the mix, especially in the hurdles. It's great to see her start off the outdoor season with a win in the 400 in a very strong time as well. Stay tuned for an interview that I'm going to be dropping this week with her, talking about her past and of course what she's looking forward to in 2023. Now, over to the men's 200, where the race also probably didn't go as we might have expected. The Olympic and world silver medalist Kenny Bednarek, he was probably the highlight here and the favorite entering the race, but he unfortunately wasn't able to put things together and he only ran 20.37 for third place. Ahead of him though, Letsili Tebogo and Christian Coleman made it a very exciting race. Coleman led from the blocks and he actually held that lead for most of the race, but Tebogo came through on his inside and he was starting to come up just in the last couple meters, leaned at the line, and it looked virtually even between Coleman and between Tebogo, but they were both given a winning time of 20 seconds flat with a legal wind of 1.9 meters per second. Coleman eventually did take the win by just a couple thousandths of a second. Super close race. Now, this is significant for both of these guys for very different reasons. Coleman getting a win here shows that he is able to tap into his speed endurance, which will of course translate well into his 100 meters, knowing that his second half of his 100 is usually his weakest part. Also, 20 seconds flat is his 6th fastest 200 meter time ever. Now, for Tebogo, this shows that he has barely scratched the surface of his ability and is just getting started. We saw the amazing 300 he had a few weeks ago, but now with the 200 time of 20 flat in April, just barely off his best of 19.96 from August last year. Yeah, let's see if he doesn't rack up a couple medals over the next couple years in the World Championships and the Olympics. Over to the women's 200, this ended the meet, and probably as expected, Abby Steiner took the win in 22.23 seconds and a legal plus 1.8 meter per second win. But Steiner honestly was not the story of this race at all, in my opinion at least. Tamari Davis, she came away second place here in a personal best of 22.31 seconds. Now, we may remember Tamari Davis and the legendary 2022 season she had, but she only really ran the 100 meter dash. In 2022, she only ran the 200 meters once in April last year. So her personal best dates back to 2018, personal best of 22.48. This personal best was well overdue, but more importantly, she is on pace to run much faster this year in the 100 meters. Don't be surprised if Davis ends the year running, I don't know, sub 10.8 and sub 22 in both events. Look out for her. Also do want to highlight Kayla White, 22.44 seconds for third place. That's actually her 4th fastest 200 meter performance ever. Last year, she ran the 3 faster performances. She ran a personal best of 22.18 at USA Championships. So if this is any indication of where she's going, Kayla White is going to be coming back into the fold and a very, very good contender to make the USA team in the 200. Now, here's just a few other shout outs from the meet that I definitely need to put out there. Tonea Marshall ran a windy 12.62 in the 100 meter hurdles for a win there. She's coming off a win last week at the Texas Relays, and she finished 4th place at USA's last year, just missing the World Championship team. So based on these, few couple wins that she's had already, I don't think she wants to miss that World Championship team. Definitely look out for her. In the women's long jump, Ruth Usoro from Nigeria, 6.82 meters. Unfortunately, wind aided plus 2.5 meters per second, but a very strong performance and a very strong win for someone here who kind of has an outside shot to get medals in both the long jump and the triple jump at the World Championships. Finally, Will Williams, 8.25 meters to get the win in the long jump. Also, unfortunately, wind aided plus 4.5 meters per second, but he did get a legal jump of 8.13 meters. So Will Williams, he made the World Championship team last year, and he is very much on pace to not only make the team again this year, but potentially even medal if he's able to continue on this trajectory. So go in the comments below and let me know not only your favorite performance and what you thought of the meet, but also what are some of the implications that these races have for the rest of the year, and how will these athletes perform all throughout 2023? Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and be back again next time. Thanks for watching.